What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid because the Frenchman has not exactly, been flying in La Liga. Yes, he scored in the Super Cup, but some struggles in La Liga. So like, comment, subscribe. We're going to talk about Kylian Mbappe, his performances so far. And yes, I am a Barcelona fan, but I do like to talk Real Madrid too. Road to 300 subs continue, so subscribe if you haven't. And the first thing I want to say to Kylian Mbappe is welcome to La Liga, the home of the low block. Mallorca, Deportivo Alaves, Espanyol, Getafe, Leganes, all these teams, Osasuna, they're all going to run these low blocks. And the reason why is because they want to neutralize Kylian Mbappe's pace as much as possible. They want to stay in the game as much as possible, and they do not want to let physicality beat them. Maybe skill, a wonderful piece of work, skill-wise, all right. But these teams, they know Kylian Mbappe's pace, and they're not going to allow him to utilize that and it's impossible to do so when there's 10 players behind the ball at all times. And I feel like that is a smart tactic to use. I don't know if we saw this as much in the French league. And, teams in the Champions League, they will probably not really do this as much, but La Liga, they will. I'm not going to lie. And, it's kind of a smart tactic, but also a bit more pressure on Kylian Mbappe because Endrick, the starlet from Brazil, the next Pele, quote unquote, he balled out. He came in for a little period of time against Valladolid, and what a shimmy, bang in the corner with his right foot, and that was an impressive goal. So, hey, a little bit more pressure from Kylian Mbappe, a little more pressure that he has to deliver. And can you really blame the Real Madrid fans? They waited like 2 to 3 years to see Kylian Mbappe in their shirt, so you can't really blame the Madrid fans. And the first thing I want to say is the connection from Vinny and Mbappe has been there, though. Like, it's not like it's been all bad. Mbappe is getting chances, mainly from Vinicius. Vinicius, he had that little Trivela. Mbappe should have scored. And Vinicius, he looks like he's really trying to see Mbappe score a goal. He's trying to play make for him. And hey, all I'm going to say is that Vinicius Jr., however, has been spectacular. Even though he hasn't gotten a bunch of goals and assists, I think he got one against Mallorca. Vinicius' dribbling is still there. He's still being a constant threat. He never gives up with his dribbling. And man, Vinicius is probably a top 5 player in the world, and also probably the best left winger in the world. I'm not going to lie. Vinicius on his day is incredible. And even when it's not on his day, Vinicius Jr. is just an incredible player all around. And the next thing I want to say is Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe, they can work together, but I would much rather prefer them to be on opposite flanks instead of, like touching the left wing both, because it kind of causes a problem, defensively for Real Madrid when they lose the ball if they switch it over to the weak side. And I feel like Perez, he wants to see all the big names, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Vinicius, and Mbappe all on the field at the same time. But the thing is that Real Madrid, all these players that I just named, they all like to drift left. Even Bellingham, who's a midfielder, he likes to come to the left sometimes. Rodrigo, he leaves his right wing position to come to the central and come to the left. And you can't really blame him. That naturally happens. That is where he's most effective. And Rodrigo, we saw it for the goal against Mallorca. Beautiful finish, but man, I don't know. It's just that Rodrigo is such a good player, and I feel like, can you really blame him for being, like somewhat frustrated? He is a left winger, and he keeps being pushed away from his natural position. Even Vinicius, he has that position, and it feels like there's too much people near him, and Vinicius can just do it all by himself. He doesn't need this much help, this much players around him, and Real Madrid would have been more dangerous. I feel like, I'm not going to lie, if they had Erling Haaland instead of Mbappe so far. But hey, what I want to say is that their midfield, it looks decent. It looks like a working midfield. Like they have discipline, they have the defense, they have the work rate with Bellingham, Valverde, Chouameni, and then they have the art. That little daggered pass. Arda Güler, he tried to feed Mbappe the other day. Arda Güler looks like a spectacular player after the Euros, and he looks like a star. I'm not gonna lie. But Kylian Mbappe, the first thing I want to say is that he's not an aerial threat. He is not Joselu. Joselu, Real Madrid fans will miss Joselu. I'm going to tell you that right now. But the thing that Joselu has over Mbappe is that he is an aerial threat. And I said in my past video, what Real Madrid needs to sign is a striker, and they didn't so far. And Joselu is an absolute bad man in the air. Joselu knows what to do when the ball perfect crosses from Fran Garcia. He knows a bullet header, how it is, and he gets up there. And Kylian Mbappe doesn't have that in his locker. He's not even really a good header of the ball in any way, let's be honest. And Kylian Mbappe, he won't have that aerial presence of a Joselu. And the problem is that even Cristiano Ronaldo, when he became a final action player, like past 2015, Kylian Mbappe doesn't have his killer instinct that Ronaldo had. Ronaldo, if you gave him two chances, he might have just buried two of them. It's not just a one for two. It might be two for two because Cristiano Ronaldo is deadly. I remember in those Clásicos, we had to keep Ronaldo away from scoring chances because he's lethal in the box. And Kylian Mbappe so far has showed that he's been really wasteful compared to the top players that Real Madrid has had in the over the years. Let's be honest. Kylian Mbappe, he probably had like 5 chances in the past 2 games. He hasn't scored any of them. And in my opinion, he should have had at least 2 goals, in my opinion. So, I don't know. Ancelotti, he said that there's going to be no more signings, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know if he's going to, stay with the statement. Maybe he's going to ask for Perez to get one more striker in the door. I wouldn't blame him. Ivan Toney's there. Hopefully they don't. I'm a Barca fan. I hope that Real Madrid don't get a striker because Kylian Mbappe, you can tell that it's not a really natural position, backing into defenders and linking play. That's not what he does best. He is at his best whenever he's a winger, being direct, scoring goals out wide, taking on players in a way, using his speed. And I don't know, because Kylian Mbappe, he's not a bad player. Like, guys, this is Kylian Mbappe who scored a hat trick at the World Cup final, who put literally like the world is stopped for a second. Kylian Mbappe really scored a hat trick in a World Cup final. He was lethal that day. And today at Real Madrid, and even his last season at PSG, it seemed like he's kind of regressed and turned into a final action player. And in my opinion, Kylian Mbappe has so much to offer that he shouldn't do this so early on. When you're 29, I understand. But he's 25, man, and he's got a lot to offer. And I know Perez is going to be on his case. Perez is going to probably tell him, hey, do you want to play striker or should I get one? I can see Perez doing this. And don't trust Real Madrid whenever they say we won't make a signing, because Real Madrid in the past have done this and then made a signing on deadline day or in the past couple of days. And guess what? We are approaching that type of time in the transfer window. And Real Madrid, we can't forget, Kylian Mbappe is going to have a bunch of chances to score goals because, they dominate games, let's be honest, especially against these lower La Liga sides. And Kylian Mbappe is going to have a lot of chances, but he's just got to be more clinical. That's probably the point of this story. He's not as clinical as we thought, but he's going to get a bunch of chances. But like, comment, subscribe. That's it from me today. Road to 300 subs continues, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.